She'd been with me for 12 years, worked for me for 8 years before there was any record of any stealing. There was $146,000 that I was able to track back over 4.5 years. You know, I cared about her because she'd been with me for so long and she just betrayed that trust, yeah.
Business fraud generally, the discoverability of it is on the rise, but the level and the extent of the dishonesty and the thefts is broad. It's from small amounts to extremely large amounts.
The people who commit the fraud are often going to be within the organisation. They're a trusted employee. In some cases they've been there for many, many years. And if you talk to a business owner, usually they're shocked that it was the person that actually committed the fraud.
While taking certain risks to grow a business is acceptable, a company should never take risks with its hard-won cash, and yet so many do. Becoming a victim of fraud just once could have a large impact on a business and push some into insolvency.
Well, for those that have experienced fraud firsthand, they understand that the damage goes well beyond just the financials. There's your suppliers, the creditors, the bank, your staff. All of them knowing can affect your credibility.
Now there is a solution: vigilance. Business owners and directors really rely on trust that the information received is correct, and it is this that provides the fraudsters with opportunity. Vigilance is the latest in financial technology software, made possible by harnessing the strength of cloud technology to aggregate your business bank accounts, payroll and creditor transactions data in one place. This data is then scrutinized constantly through a series of algorithms looking for anomalies, unusual and noteworthy transactions that could constitute a risk to your business.
One of the big differences with vigilance is around the approval process of payments.
Unlike the typical process where a manager will approve a payments report submitted by the company's accounts department and which may have mistakes or be easily altered prior to upload via a batch file to the bank, Vigilance works seamlessly, taking and checking the actual batch file produced in accounts and presenting that to the manager. So they are approving exactly what will then go on to the bank from Vigilance. Vigilance checks the batch file and notes any exceptions to the approver right at the top of the report. Others, including the external accountant, can also be alerted to noteworthy transactions.
Implementing vigilance forces good process, and that improves things both for the administrator as well as it does for the manager who does the approving process.
Good practice would have you go through and just check that the bank accounts are the same each month. I mean, it's nigh on physically impossible to do that in sort of organisation and time-wise, but to actually have the vigilance system carry out that check for you is a very valuable part of the vigilance offering.
Detailed reporting highlights any exceptions on transactions to be made, which provides the ability to review specific payments and stop any fraudulent transactions before they occur.
Ability to be able to log on at any point in time and just go through the approval process is just a huge saving from my own time. It ensures that I'm not holding up the accountants who are doing the payroll or the creditor run, so we can actually anytime, anywhere. It's been superb. And similarly, the chairman who's on the other side of the city, and for him to be able to go online at any point in time, carry out a similar sort of review is significant. It's gold.
As Vigilance keeps all your historical data, its interrogation becomes even more sophisticated and is unaffected by business interruptions such as the changing of banks, payroll or accounting systems.
There are other obvious advantages in storing all your data in one place, because that can provide for future business analysis.
Robust information is priceless in business. As Vigilance collects and analyzes data from many sources, it has the ability to produce tailor-made reports for specific applications and for specific audiences.
What the Vigilance system has given us is the ability to provide assurance to the board at any point in time in terms of the robustness of our back office processes, in terms of who we're paying, why we're paying, and ensuring there is protection, bank account numbers match, etc. The sort of procedures you'd have in place if you were a significantly sized organisation. But because of our size, we can't afford separation of duties, so the Vigilance system provides that assurance for us.
Vigilance is simple to implement and can be operational within hours. Importantly, there is no additional effort from administration staff to use the system. In fact, it greatly improves their process by capturing human errors, such as simple accidental keystrokes through to duplicate invoice entry.
Given the sensitive nature of the information stored in Vigilance, security is tight.
All accounts are password protected, and all data is transmitted using encryption that is to the same standard as banks use. Vigilance also meets required PCI compliance standards.
There's plenty of fraud software out there, but they all detect fraud after the money's left the bank. Vigilance is embedded in the day-to-day processes of the business operations, acting preemptively long before the money leaves the bank. And it's this that provides transparency of your cash movements, and that's good financial governance.
For New Zealand businesses to be world class, not only is your product, your marketing, your customer engagement got to be world class, but the back end has to be as well. The value that Vigilance gives companies is that independent view that the business is on track.
Vigilance provides both peace of mind and helps businesses to catch losses to the bottom line that might otherwise have gone undetected. Vigilance is good management, good governance, and hence great business.